Why do I get so many comments from carers saying management is bad? It would be unrealistic to say that all management is bad. That isn't true. I'm sure there are plenty of good care management teams doing a really good job in what is a very difficult business to run. But why do some of them get it so wrong? And actually, why is it so important that care staff and care management have a good relationship? I see time and time again people saying it's all about profit. They don't care about staff, and for the love of God, it makes no sense to me. Okay, I don't have a business degree, but if I was running a business, one of the most important things to me would be my staff. You know, if I was running a business offering a service that I had to rely on staff to run, then they would be my number one. So it makes no sense that these companies are out there not looking after their staff. Or is it that they just had every good intention of doing it in the beginning, but actually they got so stressed that just went to shit? What I have seen a lot is not necessarily bad management, but bad coordination. And I've said this time and time again, is allocation of tasks is so important. Now, saying that, you can have every good intention of going into work at 9 o'clock on a Monday morning, and by 10 o'clock that's all gone to shit, because as we know, we are dealing with vulnerable people. We are caring for vulnerable people, and they can be very unpredictable, and that can change like that. But you've got to have a plan. And when we're talking about profit, now look, okay, I wouldn't run a business if I wasn't going to make some profit, or if I didn't forecast to make a profit. So I agree with the fact that a business needs to make a profit to run. I guess one of the issues is that, do I agree with it rinsing people dry? No, I don't. And I've seen that happen so much. You know, people literally are spending their life savings. And then we're not talking about a lot, aren't we? Because the threshold is actually quite low. We're talking about just everyday people having to pay for care that really we should all be getting for free. So I don't agree with that. But I do agree with the business making money, because it wouldn't make any sense otherwise. And you're going to have in every company, you're going to have a very different structure of management. You're going to have someone who owns the company, and they may not have any care experience. They have bought the company, they bought the franchise or whatever. And really, they should have nothing to do with it other than sitting there counting their money and making sure everyone gets paid and actually all the rest of it. You're going to have a manager, you know, you're going to have a registered manager. And so some people will go, well, they should be getting out from behind their desk and going to do work. Now, I agree with that to a point, but I also feel, this is just my opinion, that managers are supposed to be sat there leading, not going out every day doing care calls. The managers that are going out every day doing care calls, there's something wrong here. It's like they cannot let go of being a carer. Yes, when the shit hits the fan, it's all hands on deck, without question. But their job should be to lead a team. And then you're going to have your coordinators, your supervisors, your senior staff. These are the people that should be actually sorting out the rotas, sorting out the care plans, being on call to emergencies, and coming out to calls, and coming out to assess you, and coming out to assess clients. Those are the people that should be running around, really. I'm not saying they don't, but I'm just saying in some situations that's obviously not happening. I also don't think you should have a team of people who are doing everything, the same things. That's one of the big issues. But the other question is why are we not looking after our staff? Speculate to accumulate and all of that. Like, okay, I know there are companies out there that would love to pay more, but they can't pay more because of restrictions and the kind of work they're getting in and all of that, and all the other stuff they have to pay for, national insurance and blah, blah, blah. Okay, but, are we mentally, are we spiritually, are we everything else, are looking after our staff? Are we making sure they're right? Are we taking the piss out of them? We can't be taking the piss out of care staff. They'll do a runner. It makes no sense to me. I know it's hard, I know it's stressful, but this is what do you think? What do you think? Do you tell me what are the problems, and why is it that so many of you feel let down by care management?